Hi everyone, Vincent here again from ChinaSmartPhoneReview.com, and this is finally my full review of the Vernee M5, which I have here. I got this at Gearbest.com at around $119, so basically this is an ultra budget phone. I'll place the links on the description box below for your reference, as well as my full written article. Anyway, when I did this review, I wasn't really expecting much about this phone, but surprisingly this is a very good phone, and even better than the more expensive phones that I had tested or reviewed. Starting with the build, you should know that this is made of plastic, but it is well made, polished, and it might look metallic, but that is not really the case. The plastic build also makes it ultra light, so this phone just weighs 144 grams, making it one of the lightest budget phones that I had tested. Also, it is quite thin at just 6.9 millimeters. You can see it here. I think the thickness is quite comparable to that of the Xiaomi Mi 6. The corners are also well rounded, giving it great ergonomics, and the 5.2-inch size gives it a lot of portability, and in fact it is quite easy to use even one-handed. When you look at the sides here, that is the volume rocker keys as well as the power button. They are very responsive and they don't feel cheap. At the bottom portion, you do have your single loudspeaker, and it's quite decent in terms of the audio quality. And on the middle, that is the micro USB 2.0 port. So no USB Type-C port here, although it does come with a very good charger, a 5 volts 1.5 ampere charger, and it charges relatively quick also. O2G function also works fine here. At the top, you can see here, this is the 3.5mm audio port. The audio quality here is also quite good. It is clean, no static, no interference. And also at the back, you can see here, this is actually a 13 megapixel rear facing camera, and it does protrude quite a bit. And beside that, that is the LED flash, and below that, this is actually the fingerprint scanner, which I do like. This is not gimmicky, meaning that it works most of the time, and even comparable in terms of the accuracy and recognition to most expensive phones that I have tested. Looking at the front here, this is the screen itself. It only has a 720p HD display, but that doesn't mean that it is bad. In fact, the quality of the screen is quite good. The colors look natural, contrast levels are quite good, and it is still very usable even in direct sunlight. The touchscreen is also very accurate with no delays in responses, and I also like the combination between the low-end chip MediaTek MT6750T and the 720p screen. The combo is really impressive, and that includes on my gaming test, which all the games that I tested with it run smoothly, and those were really high demanding games. The links on those videos are on my suggested videos on the sides of this video. While on the subject of the screen here, you can see the bezels are quite large here, and probably the only comment I can say is when you look at the lower portion here. So this is the lower portion of the bezels where the navigation keys or capacitive keys are supposed to be placed at. So it doesn't have that, so this basically is an open space or no use for this. It only has on-screen navigation, so you can see it here. All the controls, main controls, are on this screen, so that's the only thing I can comment, which is really a minor issue. When it comes to performance, I have here a couple of benchmark test results, and the results here are really what you expect from a low-end chip. For example, here, AnTuTu score of over 3,800 points, so not really that impressive and consistent with the low-end category. Also here, this is the GPU score of Geekbench, and as well as the CPU score, single core and multi-core. So here, this is PC Mark Work 2.0 performance test, so 3400 is actually quite decent. Here, this is 3D Mark test, 307, not really that impressive numbers. And lastly here, this is what I am willing to share with you, which is quite good or impressive. The battery life here of this smartphone is quite good. It's almost 9 hours, so 8 hours and 42 minutes. That's according to PC Mark 2.0 battery life test. So that's really quite good battery life for this smartphone on a single charge. Anyway, these are just benchmark test scores, but on real-world tests, the performance is really overall very good. The system is stable, fast, and I did not experience any performance issues whatsoever. Also, it comes with 4 gigabytes of RAM and 64 gigabytes of eMMC. And in terms of expansion, I did test it with a 64 gigabyte micro SD from Kingston, so it's a class 10. So it readily supports up to 64 gigabytes as far as I have tested it. In relation to performance though, this is running a clean, fast, stable Android 7 operating system, so you can see it here. It also supports OTA, so that is over-the-air update. So this is the latest one I have here. I do like it that this system is very clean, so basically no bloatwares on the system, and it also has UpDraw on stock. Also, the UI isn't cluttered, so you can see it here. It's well arranged, and it maintains the look of the stock Android, so you can see it here even on the notification menu. Now, this is how the loudspeaker actually sounds. The loudspeaker is actually quite good here. It is loud enough and doesn't distort even on full volume. The audio quality isn't particularly impressive, but still good enough, especially for the value you are getting. It only has single loudspeaker at the bottom here, and if you want much better audio, I think you can plug in a pair of 3.5mm audio ports here, which actually offers a lot better audio quality. When it comes to connectivity, it supports hybrid dual SIM, and with the second SIM supporting TF cards. 4G LTE speeds are actually quite good here and much faster than Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi, on the other hand, is only limited to wireless N, so no dual band wireless here, but overall performance is stable, fast, and no problems with disconnection. And web browsing is also very enjoyable here. Call quality is also quite decent and no drop calls or signal problems. The GPS here also works as it should. It is fast, accurate, and can be used in point-to-point directions. And lastly, in terms of the camera, it actually has a 13-megapixel rear-facing camera. And in terms of the camera user interface, it's really what you expect from the stock Android. It only has HDR as a main shooting mode as well as panorama. And in terms of the quality, as expected from a budget phone, it really isn't impressive. It actually takes decent pictures, especially on very good lighting, but image quality still lacks details and colors look a bit flush or plain. Also, HDR doesn't really help. It even makes the photos look unnatural. On video, especially when you look at the settings here, it does say that it has EIS or electronic image stabilization. Also, the video quality, I don't think you can change it. I'm not really sure in what quality this is because it just says here high, fine, or low, medium. So not really what you expect of it. Also, the video quality is, I think, overall is quite similar to the photos, and I think best to be shot in good lighting. In terms of the image stabilization, I think it does help a bit on handheld shots. At the front here, this is an 8-megapixel front-facing camera, but I do think that it is also interpolated from 5 megapixels. The quality is actually quite decent here, especially when you're taking it at very good lighting. So now my room is quite dark, so it doesn't take that much, but the quality is actually quite decent right now. Also, in terms of the user interface, you can see it here. It's basically what stock Android is. It doesn't have a lot. You do have Face Beauty, HDR, and that's it. You do have HDR here. In conclusion, what do I think about the Vernee M5? I can honestly say that it is definitely one of the best value and well worth every penny, and probably one of the best ultra budget phones that I had tested in quite a while. There are only a few compromises and a lot of pros, and I especially like the overall performance here is impressive and the clean and stable system. Anyway, this is Vincent again from ChinaSmartPhoneReview.com, and thank you for watching this video. The links to my full article as well as where you can buy this smartphone are on the description box below. And if you like this video, give me a like, or if not, then you know what to do. Anyway, see you on my next video review.